Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. Now that the summer is coming to an end and we got to assess our fun and damages, and people look around and pack up and see what they're missing, what they've loaned to others, etc. And some of the shilas that come up, I will discuss two shilas that I saw written about baseball games. And maybe this is applicable to many situations, many other situations. Situation number one, children want to get together and play a game of baseball, and Chaim asks his friend, could I borrow from you some baseballs, a bat, a ball? Sure enough, it's a fun, exciting game, and a power hitter gets up there and hits a ball a mile away, and the ball is lost. Is Chaim responsible to give him a new ball? Number one. Number two, there was no loan for the balls. A couple of children were playing in the bungalow colony or in a backyard, and Chaim hits a home run. The ball lands in the neighbor's yard and breaks a window, breaks a garden equipment, etc. Is he responsible to pay for that? So these are two shilas that I saw lately I've discussed in different svarim. Now let's take each shilah on its own. If somebody borrows a ball from a friend to play baseball, or for that reason any piece of equipment, I actually saw that the same shilah was discussed, that somebody asked his cousin if he could use a car top carrier to store luggage because they were going on a trip, and during the trip it was a hailstorm and the car top carrier got damaged, and now he wants to return it to his cousin, but there is hail damage to it. So the Dayan compared the two cases by saying, take an example, first of all, one foundation you have to know is that when you talk about a shoyel, you talk about somebody, a borrower, there's a common misunderstanding what his responsibilities are. People think that if an accident happens, he is not obligated. Wrong. A shoyel is mechuyev ba'insim, is obligated to pay for even an einus, even an accident. You know, there's shemrim, there's a shemer chinam, shemer sachar. They are not mechuyev for einus, but a shoyel, a borrower, is responsible to pay even for an accident. However, an accident is one thing. There is a meso machmas malacha. There is what the Shulchan Aruch says based on the Gemara. If you just did the normal routine, you borrowed a lawnmower, and as you're mowing your lawn, it just conks out because the motor burnt out, that's meso machmas malacha. That's not an einus. Even a shoyel is pater from that. So the Dayan analyzes this situation and saying when a person loans a car top carrier or a baseball, he understands that, yeah, there are normal circumstances, the ball will be hit in the infield and the outfield and get back. The car top carrier, there is a good chance that he'll come and get back. But rains do happen, hails do happen. People do hit home runs and lose the ball. So the Dayan looked at it as a situation of Mesa Machmas Malacha, in the sense that when you loan something like this to your friend, you understand from the get-go that there is a chance that this might happen, and you're willing to take that risk to help your friend and not make him obligated to pay, as long as it wasn't a pshia, negligence, as long as it wasn't an einus. If it's the normal way of the game, if it's a normal way of dealing with this, you didn't leave the car top unstrapped. If you did everything properly, the Dayan paskin, that's a din of Mesa Machmas Malacha, and he would be pater. Concerning the next shaila, it depends if it was children playing baseball or if it was an adult, because there's a din in Gemara, and it's a din in Shulchan Aruch. The Gemara says that children, the actions of children are not responsible for their actions. They're not mature enough. A lot of flukes happen, a lot of mistakes happen with the children, and they are not responsible, they're not obligated for their misfaults. However, in Shulchan Aruch it's brought in two places, in Choshen Mishpat and in Hilchos Shabbos, the Alter Rebbe brings it to, that if a child knows of an Avera or a Geneva, for example, it says a child, if he was under Bar Mitzvah and he stole, he's obligated to pay the item. When he becomes older, he has to pay for it. If, however, it's an item that he found and it was lost, he's not obligated to pay. And Aveda, he's not obligated to pay. And the difference basically is that a child may ikar hadin, all his actions from under Bar Mitzvah, he's not responsible for. What happens later after his Bar Mitzvah, as a midas chassidus, again, as a midas chassidus, to have a clean slate completely, he should take upon himself a midas chassidus to pay for it. Now, Beis Din or the parents still have an obligation to train the children, even as young, not to go around like loose cannons damaging properties. However, if a kid would to damage, there is no halachic responsibility for sure as a youngster. Even as an adult, it's a midas chassidus. What happens is, why you find so many people feeling good and doing the right thing to pay for it, because parents, halachically, even as their children are young, are trying to save their children from what they might have an obligation for later. So because there is a later obligation that will come up after the Bar Mitzvah, so the parents pay for the damages that they did. But if this was a case in Beis Din where there was a big dispute, not necessarily the parents would be obligated at this point for sure as a youngster, and even as a child grows up. So those are some of the things that you might come about now. You're looking around, there might be broken flower pots or anything that you loaned to people, people borrowed and it's broken. You should just know that these are halachas. There is a lot of inyanim of sisa, of hayashav, ha'toiv, that the Yidden do lefnai lefnim mishuras adin. They do above the letter of the law, because that's how the Yidden are, and that's why we come to the Eibishter, coming close to Chodesh Elul, and we say that we do lefnai lefnim mishuras adin. The Eibishter should bench us also, that he should respond to us more than what we deserve, even though that, we might not be picture perfect, but mitzat chesed chinam, the Eibishter should bless us with a ksiva v'chesima tova.